Is that your little one?
Yeah,
Hey.
yeah, it's the longest I've been away from him, actually. Yeah.
How's that going?
Yeah, good. He's 10 months now, so...
Only one?
Yeah, yeah.
Go again?
Yeah, hopefully.
I'm interviewing him.
Yeah,
How many kids you gonna have, bro?
At least 4, I think.
See, bro.
Yeah.
That's
about
like Islanders, Māori, Arabs, all the same, you know?
Yeah.
You just want more, heaps.
What's it like being a father?
To be a good father, it takes a lot of effort, a lot of persistence, a lot of patience, but it's the best job in the world. Naturally, you grow up, naturally, you become less self-absorbed, less selfish. But I love it, man. I really do love it. So we got 4 beautiful kids, Iman, Aisha, Zaid, and Isa. God willing, my wife will want to go around again soon, so hopefully there's a couple more in the works. We'll see.
Sonny Bill Williams, superstar, both here in Australia and around the globe. First, he lit up the NRL at just 18 years of age. Riding high with the Bulldogs, he shocked the league world by switching codes to Union, attracting massive scrutiny and criticism from both media and fans alike. But Sonny quietly had the last word. 2 World Cup trophies with the All Blacks, a World Cup with the Kiwis, 2 Super Rugby titles, 1 ITM Cup, the NRL title in his first season, and another one when he made his grand return to the NRL aged 28. And don't forget the boxing titles, but when it comes to respect, what stands out for so many of us is how he uses his voice and platform.
I just wanted to say thank you on behalf of Māori, and you always stuck up for us, and you stuck up for our Polynesian brothers and sisters, our minority, our Muslim brothers and sisters. Why is that so important for you?
I just try and be a voice for the voiceless. I come from housing commission household, both parents, low income jobs, all my uncles in the Black Power. I never really saw anyone of prevalence or anyone in a position of power. You know, to be able to sit here and be confident and not content, still striving to achieve, but content in who I am. I feel like I need to represent that, and I represent that through my actions as much as I can. The commentary stuff at the moment.
I get tackled here. I don't want to be offloading here, because if I offload here, the guy that gets the ball is running where?
Straight
solid defence line.
Yeah.
For me, I'm used to being good at sport.
Yeah.
I get into this space and I'm not good at it, but it's the grind. But I try and do it to represent and to, you know, a picture says 1,000 words, and I just try and do it for that. For me, like I picture myself when I was young, I didn't see any of my family in a position of power or anything like that. But I seen these coloured brothers playing footy at the highest level, playing for the All Blacks, playing the NRL. So that's what I wanted to be, that's what I wanted to strive to be. So for me, being in this space, commentary, I just picture a young Sonny Bill looking, saying, oh, you know, I might not be the greatest sportsman, but, you know, maybe I could still be in that space, you know. It's an avenue I could go down.
I guess, like, for me watching it, and you saying words like kia ora and bro and cuz, it's like, oh, like there's a person there that's like speaking my language.
The one thing I've always tried to be in, and I'm very mindful of, is being myself. And to be myself, I have to keep it simple. I speak to the laymen because I am a layman. I say chur, I say cuz, I say docs, I say uso, because that's how I talk. And when you look at that field, there's 50–60% of us Māori Pacific Islanders. So the sad thing is now we're still in a time where the higher you go up in the game, to the point where you get to the board members and the people that are actually making the decisions that affect those that are playing the game, you know, there's less than 1 or 2% of Māori or Pacific Islander background. So.
And that's something you kind of like have brought up in the past, like in terms of when we go to the All Blacks, we haven't had a Pacific Island or a Māori head coach yet. Do you think it's going to happen soon?
God willing, inshallah. I think, yeah, I'm very vocal about that. I think, from what I've seen, it's not a boys' club, but it's I'm going to look after my mate, and my mate's going to look after my mate, and my friend's going to look after my friend, you know? If anyone was to grab an Islander or a Māori and take them under their wing, it could have been Steve Hansen, you know? But he understands the power of connecting with us on that level. So I would like to see maybe one of these head coaches or CEOs or board members take a few brothers or a few Māori or Pacific Islanders and just take them under their wing and teach them what they know, because it's going to be beneficial for all.
Did you ever pick up on, or was it just me, like how reporters or commentators used to kind of describe brown players as like lots of flair and all of that, and then use the word intelligent with like non-brown players?
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Of course, but it's they got one thing right. The brothers always have the flair.
Yeah.
But they don't understand that we have the smarts that go with it always, you know. And for example, when you speak about Pacific Islanders, we're taught when we grow up, be quiet, show respect to your elders, and don't talk unless you're spoken to. You know, when you go around your auntie's house or your uncle's, or you go into a public gathering, you're always pretty quiet because you don't want to upset or stand on anyone's toes. So when you go into a professional environment, our social skills are heightened. Like I feel like we can read the room a bit better because we've always been taught to be quiet, if that makes sense. But because we don't speak, doesn't mean that we're any less intelligent.
Yeah.
It's just a different way of communicating, you know?
Years ago, a journalist said about me, "You can't stop the sun from shining." It was one of those play on words commentators say, but it stuck with me. Not because it was about me, but because it was true. No matter what happens on the field,
In 2021, Sonny Bill released his biography, where he went into detail about the ups and downs of his sports career, as well as shedding light on personal stuff like whānau and faith.
I owe it to the young kids growing up, dreaming of a different life to the one they are living every day.
What was more nerve-wracking for you, running out on a playoffs game or releasing that book and seeing how everyone was going to react to it?
Oh, releasing the book.
Yeah.
For sure. Just because it's the unknown, you know?
Because you put it all out there.
Yeah, you know, and you know what? I've never sat down and read the book because
Really?
it's too. I'm like, I can't sit down and watch interviews either because I'm like, oh, that's cringe. So my wife actually made me sit down the other night and watch me doing commentary. She said, "Oh, I'm proud of where you at. You got to sit down and watch. You're not where you want to be, but you're getting a lot better, and you should be confident and be proud of yourself where you're at." So it's kind of like with interviews or podcasts or whatever I'm on. I can't watch it. I can't read. So when it came to the book, that was a whole nother level. But you know what? I'm proud of the fact that, you know, in the streets, the youngins will come up and talk about the book to me. I was speaking to, he's actually still playing at the moment. He's played for New Zealand Māoris too. He called me the other day and he was almost in tears, just saying how much the book has affected him in a positive way. So I remember thinking before I wrote the book that if it can affect one person like that, it'll be a success.
But I guess like you could have teamed up with whoever you wanted with that book. You wanted it to be like a Māori or Polynesian writer and a photographer and all of that stuff. Was that kind of cool that you went through with that plan and you found people?
Yeah, man. Yeah. That's what I'm about. I try and be authentic and try and keep it real. And brother Alan Duff, shout out to Alan Duff, he's the man. Lots of love for him and his family. Yeah, I'm always trying to uplift our people and whatnot, and it was cool to be able to use my book and on that level, and because they were actually the people that were a lot of people were trying to push me to other writers, but you know I was pretty staunch in what I wanted, and that's what we got. So it was pretty cool.
Has your father read the book?
Yep.
Yeah. Because there's that part in there where you tell your dad, I think, that you're going to join media and commentary, and he was like, "Oh, why?" And you got a little bit hoha with him.
Yeah.
What did he think about reading that part of the book?
You know, me and my dad, we've got a great relationship. You know, I love my old man. Just for the things that he's taught me. He's cool. He understood that I had to put some of those things in there to show that we can all change. You know, my old man had a real tough upbringing. I think 13 siblings. You know, he used to get the mean bash, mean hidings. The struggle was real when he was growing up. So, you know, there was a lot of things that happened in his life that, you know, you could understand if he went off the rails. For me to see the man that he is today, it's really inspiring, you know, and I just wanted to tell a bit of that story. He's almost like one of my best mates, you know. We're in here in the boxing gym, but the old man loves it more than me. He's like, "You training today, son? Come on, son, you got to get in there. We got to train. We got to work, you know." Yeah. But The one thing I've noticed about realized about my old man, that for such a fierce, tough individual man, he doesn't like confrontation. He doesn't like stepping on anyone's toes. I feel like he's just a product of his upbringing, you know? Product of being a Polynesian Pacific Islander in the 70s and 80s, you know? Where you're down here and don't ever think you can come up here with us, you know? So, and then I've got my hearty-ass mom that, you know, in the 80s, a white lady with freckles, with red hair, going out with a Samoan guy that has an afro, and unapologetic about it. There's something really strong about that. I have her activist in me, where it's, no matter what it is, if it's right, it's right. If it's wrong, it's wrong. So, you know, I have the physical attributes of my dad, but then I have that mana, I guess, from my mom, all mixed in one.
I feel like a big part of the book is you just kind of voicing up, speaking up, and not being that shy Māori or Polynesian within an organisation and not getting pushed around. Like, did you get much feedback on that from your readers? Yeah. Yeah,
and I felt like towards the end of my career, I got a lot of respect from the lads for always being a voice for them, always speaking up for them. You know, I guess I always had that in me, but the older I got and the more experience I had, the more confident in myself to be more vocal about it, about different certain situations where I was like, you know, hang on, no, that's not right. That's not right, you know. And
I really like the things that your brother said in the book, and he was always kind of confused why some people didn't like you. So what did you think it always came down to? Like, was it because you converted sports, or Polynesian cracking it, or Muslim, or all of those things at once?
Yeah, I think all of that played its part. You know, being a Polynesian, being a Muslim, but also being a sportsman that was doing what was best for myself. Early on, I worked out and I understood the business approach that clubs would take, and I think that rubbed a lot of people up the wrong way, especially the conservative type, you know? Who was this larrikin, loudmouth guy that thinks he can just go from this code to that code, or go play over here, or play... Where, you know, I always was like, if I feel like I'm being a good person, I'm training hard, working hard, and being a team man, whatever team I'm in, I feel like I'm all good. You tell yourself, oh, it doesn't matter what anyone says, you know, don't read the papers, don't do this. But like, there was certain, I won't lie, things still got to you, but I worked out, especially with the experience that I had, I worked out how to block it out, which was a lot better for my mental health. Yeah. So there'd be times when I wouldn't go on social media. There'd be times where I won't go on, read any papers, and kind of just, that helped me just block it all out, you know. And I always trained hard. I always put the effort in the gym, and I always strove to be the best teammate that I could be. But it was trying to block out that outside noise sometimes, because, you know, little comments or articles would get to me. Like, when you're in that space, like, how do you, like, be yourself and be happy and stay happy? Everything, I guess, for me, everything starts with the heart. You know, you got sincerity in your heart, and you move in a way where, you know, you're just doing your best, and you know you're doing your best. That's all you can do. You'll never be able to change or think for others. You'll never be able to talk for others, but you can talk for yourself, and you can think for yourself. And as a Muslim, I always say, I strive for my creator's respect, because then I know that I'll get the creation's respect. And if you're a person of faith, you understand that. But if you're not, it's just that, just move in a way where your heart's right. You're doing things for a greater cause sometimes, you know. You're always taking the higher path. And if you're continuously moving like that, then you'll find yourself being happy, while I find myself being happy. And there's a real special thing about that, you know.
Kia ora and welcome back. In part 2 of this interview with Sonny Bill Williams, the sports star discusses converting to Islam, his manager Kōrero Nasser, and what's next for him in the boxing ring.
It's quite funny that I'm a rugby league player, or rugby union player, or a boxer, because it's such a savage sport. But I really feel like I'm a loving guy, you know. I don't really hold animosity or hatred to anyone.
In 2008, Sonny Bill Williams converted to Islam. He says it helped him when he was losing his way in the chaotic world of professional sport. His brother and his mother also converted.
I guess when you first converted to Islam, what was the initial reaction from your close friends and whānau teammates? Because most of Māori and Polynesian are Christians, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like a lot different.
You know, I've had some pretty hearty conversations with some of the boys that are hearty Christians.
Yeah.
For myself, when it comes into that space, I always say to the bro, always say to whoever we're having that conversation with, I can't tell you how to feel, just like you can't tell me how to feel. So when it came to, you know, the mental health struggles that I was having at that time, I've always believed in God. So for myself, I knew I needed God. And when I went down that path, that religious path, I studied, and it brought me to Islam. Some relationships, it's, you know, the relationship's still there, but it's kind of a bit, you know, not as close as it once was, which is fine. But no, not, you know, in the team, from a team perspective, not really. You know, we kind of just come to common ground, always that we believe in a higher purpose, which is really nice.
The horrific terror attack that unfolded in New Zealand overnight. Not one, but 2 mosques in Christchurch were targeted, the country's worst mass shooting ever.
It was a massacre that changed a country.
This is and will be one of New Zealand's darkest days.
Do you feel like Muslims in New Zealand feel totally welcomed yet?
There's so many, I guess, voices of hatred out there, you could say, propaganda, whatnot, whatever it is. There's so much of it out there today, and I find that it's all due down to that thing that we hold in our hand every day, you know. And it's hard because you want to solve all the world problems, but you can't. But I find like everything just starts at home, and if you can start at home and work on yourself, like I try to do, because I have so much struggles that I have to overcome day in, day out. But if I do that, then I can operate in a way where I'm calm and I'm just trying to, you know, help wherever I can. But I guess one of upskilling yourself through knowledge, which will push light onto that dark space of the unknownness, because when you know what that person is or what they stand for, you can kind of not just understand them, but you connect with similar traits, for example. And then when you have that common ground, there's a lot more respect there, you know. So I just think there's a lot of naiveness out there at the moment, and it's like, well, they're from that area and they're this, so they're that, you know, instead of being like, well, actually they're from that area, but they love to do this, and they love their family and they love their mom and dad, just like I love my family and I love my mom and dad. Let's connect on that level.
Was it kind of annoying that the media tried to make it a big focus, like when it was such a personal thing for you?
Oh, not really. My whole life has always been blown out of proportion, I feel. The thing I love about it, at the same time, like when you meet someone in the street and you can tell they're a bit iffy to come up and say hello, or then I just, you know, hey bro, or hey sis, would you like a photo? Or would you like to have a yarn, you know? And I think growing up in the household I grew up, coming from, you know, the Housing Commission household that I grew up in, and having the confidence issues that I had growing up, I've always felt like I've just been, you know, just a normal person. So when I see people put me on that pedestal and they're right there, I'm like, hey, you know, it's actually a cool reminder, especially when my daughters are saying, no photos, you know, get away. So, I don't know, I always feel like I have that affiliation, that deep affinity with just the normal Joe Blow on the street.
I actually wanted to interview your manager, Koda. He keeps skipping my question every time I ask. I was just wondering, like, man, he looks after you and Quaid and Anthony Mundine and Ofa. What's special about Koda?
One of the boys, but he is big on injustice, standing up for what's right. So that's probably the big thing that I've learned from him is what's right is right and what's wrong is wrong. For example, I think it was a couple of months ago, we sat down and we said, oh, Paul Gallen, he's going to want to fight. I said, yeah, it'll, you know, be a big deal, you know, make a lot of money, all of that type of stuff. But we sat down and we said, the deal has to be just. You shouldn't want to get paid more than you deserve to be paid, and he shouldn't, for example. So, you know, he came to the table and he said he wants such and such, which wasn't just, you know. So we're at a stage now where that fight won't happen unless he comes to the table where the deal will be just, even if it means losing all of this type of money, because principle and being just means more than just making a quick earn, if that makes sense. And as a Muslim too, we've had to turn down many deals, 6-figure deals, because it didn't sit right or it wasn't Islamically right. So for me, that's been probably one of the best things that I've loved about having kōrero as my manager.
Sonny Bill Williams!
Sonny has retired from playing footy, but is still boxing. This year, he was upskilling by training with world champion Tyson Fury, and is now on the verge of adding yet another incredible highlight to his sporting career, a fight with YouTube boxing sensation Jake Paul, one which would draw in millions of viewers.
Who are you fighting in August?
Yeah, we're still locking down opponents. You know, there's a lot of names.
What are some of the names? Let's go.
Sonny Williams out of Australia.
What's happening with Jake Paul? Are you keen to fight him? Or?
Keen to fight him. There's a lot of hula hoops to get through before it all comes to fruition. I feel like those people just want to get into this Australasian market too, so if I keep making noise down here, then it could happen. But I don't know, maybe he watched that last fight, and if he watched that last fight, I know he doesn't want any of that smoke.
Another highlight in Sonny's career has been getting a degree.
I want my kids to value education, you know, and that's the reason why I went back and got a degree. I dropped out of school at 14, but once I had Iman, my eldest, I said to my wife, you know, I've always valued a coach or someone giving me advice that has been there and done it. So how am I going to tell my kids value education if I haven't done this? So Victoria Hood, she got me, Jerome Whānau, and a couple of other boys in a applied leadership. So anyway, long story short, took a couple of years, 2-3 years, but it was just for that. Just to so when my daughters have that conversation, or we have that conversation with my boys, they'll be like, you know, actually, Dad, what are you talking about? You didn't even go to school. I'll be like, nah, actually, I got a degree, son, or I got a degree, my baby, you know? So I've been there and done that.
And we're here in Sydney. Is this home for the next few years now?
Yeah, bro. Yeah. So my wife is South African, but she grew up here. So all my kids are Australian. They're happy here, going to school here, and so it'll be funny if my boys reach the heights that I reached in rugby. I always talk to my wife, well, who they're going to play for, South Africa, Australia, or New Zealand. Yeah. So we'll see, or Samoa. So we'll see.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much for meeting with us today, Sonny. I really appreciate it.
Cheers,
bro. Cheers, bro.